You prayed until your voice cracked. You believed until your heart bled. You sowed in faith when nothing made sense. And still, the breakthrough never came. At least not when you expected it. Not when you needed it most. It's almost like heaven went silent. Like God pressed pause on your life right before everything was supposed to shift. And you started asking the question we all whisper at 3 and with tears soaking the pillow, God, why are you delaying? The silence felt like rejection. The waiting felt like punishment. And the darkness? It felt holy and cruel at the same time. Because how do you reconcile a loving God with a breakthrough that never shows up? How do you keep trusting when the doors stay shut? The people leave and the promises look like illusions. This is the ache of delay, the hidden chamber where many lose their faith. Not because they don't believe in God, but because they believed He would show up by now. If this already feels like your story, type, "That's me" in the comments. I want to know who's here. But what if I told you your delay is sacred? What if the silence is not heaven ignoring you, but heaven hiding you? Because there's a difference. One is rejection, the other is preparation. One is punishment, the other is prophetic protection. You are not being denied, you are being developed. You see, heaven has a pattern. God often delays the visible manifestation of your promise to deepen the invisible layers of your identity. You asked for breakthrough, but He's forming the kind of person who can actually handle it. And God will always prioritize your becoming over your arriving. Because if you arrive before you become, the blessing can destroy you. It's easy to shout amen when the doors fly open. But can you worship in the hallway? Can you hold on to a word that hasn't manifested in 5 years, 7 years, a whole decade? Because here's the thing no one likes to preach. The longer the delay, the heavier the mantle. If God is taking His time, it's not because He's lost track of yours. It's because He's crafting something eternal in you. Something that doesn't just visit your life for a season, but rewrites your destiny for generations. He's not late. He's layering, adding depth, stripping pride, breaking cycles, sharpening discernment. He's teaching you how to war in silence, how to intercede with no applause, how to remain hidden until the oil is ready. Because heaven never sends an unprepared prophet, and you, my friend, are being prepared in the wilderness no one sees. You are in divine training. That's why it hurts so much. That's why it's so quiet. That's why nothing is happening on the outside, because everything is being restructured on the inside. And yes, you feel forgotten. Yes, you scroll past testimonies that trigger something bitter in you, because deep down you're asking, what about me, God? But listen closely. What looks like delay to man is often designed to God. You've been hidden, not overlooked. Protected, not passed over. Postponed, not rejected. There is a furnace of delay where gold is refined, and the people God trusts the most, He hides the longest. Because glory always comes after crushing, and favor always costs something. You weren't skipped, you were set apart, and you can't fast forward the sacred. If you're reading this and your soul feels like it's standing at the edge of something that never seems to come, stay. Just stay. Don't rush out of the hallway. Don't curse the door just because it didn't open on your timeline. God isn't trying to frustrate you. He's trying to fortify you. You prayed for impact, but impact without infrastructure is dangerous. And God would rather delay your platform than destroy your soul. Some people got there fast and fell even faster. But not you, not the chosen, because when heaven picks you, it hides you. It takes its time. It breaks everything that doesn't belong. It detoxes your vision from the approval of man. It ruins your appetite for shortcuts. It forces you to confront every version of yourself that would sabotage your future. So by the time your breakthrough comes, you're not just celebrating a door. You're walking through it as a new creation. And you'll know why it took so long. You'll feel it in your bones that this wasn't a delay. This was a divine cocoon, a holy holding place where God was shaping your wings in silence. And soon, you will fly. It's easy to look at others and wonder why their doors opened first, why their prayers turned to promotions while yours turned to silence. You see their breakthroughs and assume they're more anointed, more obedient, more favored. But don't confuse visibility with validation. The ones God trusts most, He conceals longest, because some victories aren't given. They're grown, and growth takes time. Hidden time, silent time, sacred time. There's a heaviness in delay that doesn't come from the devil. It comes from destiny. A holy weight, a divine pause. And that pause is not idle. It's intelligent, intentional. It's not God forgetting you, it's God formatting you, downloading new codes into your spirit, deconstructing old thought patterns, uninstalling trauma and generational debris. You thought you were waiting in line for a blessing, but God had you in a spiritual operating room, prepping you for a call bigger than your comprehension. Because the bigger the calling, the deeper the surgery. You wanted quick relief. He wanted permanent transformation, and so the delay became a sanctified battlefield where your soul learned how to kneel even when there was nothing left to hold on to. And that, right there, is the breakthrough before the breakthrough. When you stop asking when and start trusting why, that's where power lives. That's where demons tremble. When a believer becomes so yielded, so broken, so refined, that even silence becomes sacred to them, hell loses its grip. Delay breaks your illusions. Delay dismantles your idols. Delay forces you to face what you actually believe. Not what you post, not what you preach. What you really believe when nothing is working, when no one is clapping, when the promise looks like a lie. And that's why delay is holy. Because it kills off everything that would have corrupted your character once you reach the place you're praying for. You think you're ready, but God sees the layers you've ignored, the resentment that still lingers, the fear that dresses up as faith, the pride that hides behind performance. And He loves you too much to let your platform outgrow your purity. So He delays it. He stretches the timeline. He rewrites the schedule. Not to punish you, but to prepare the crown to sit rightly on your head. You were never meant to arrive wounded. You were meant to arrive whole, and wholeness doesn't come through acceleration. It comes through consecration, and consecration demands separation. That's why it's been lonely. That's why people walked away. That's why doors closed that you prayed would open. You were being pulled out of the crowd to be placed into the cloud. You were being summoned, not by noise, but by spirit. The delay wasn't a detour. It was divine direction. And somewhere along the journey, you stopped realizing just how much has changed. You don't react the way you used to. You don't crave validation like you once did. You can sit in silence now without spiraling. You can witness others rise without growing bitter. That's not weakness, that's evidence. Proof that the delay has worked, that you are no longer just a vessel, but an altar, a living space where heaven can dwell, not just visit. God doesn't rush altars, He builds them with fire. So when you say, God, I'm ready, and heaven says, wait, it's not because God is cruel, it's because He's kind and thorough. Because while you're looking for breakthrough on the outside, He's creating breakthrough on the inside. The kind that doesn't shake when storms hit. The kind that doesn't fold when critics speak. The kind that doesn't sell out just to be seen. God's not trying to make you successful. He's trying to make you sacred. And sacred things can't be rushed. So breathe. Let the delay do its work. Let the ache become oil. Let the quiet become your consecration. This isn't the end. It's the inhale before the roar. It's the darkness before the resurrection. And yes, it hurts. Yes, it feels like too much. But that's because you were never made for comfort. You were made for glory. And glory takes time. There's a moment in every sacred delay where something shifts, not outside, but within. It's subtle, quiet, almost unnoticeable. But suddenly, you're not begging for the door to open anymore. You're learning how to build an altar in front of it. You're no longer measuring God's goodness by speed. You're learning to measure it by depth. You stop asking, when will it happen? And you start whispering, God, what are you doing in me? This is where the holy ones are born, in the furnace of unfulfilled prophecies, in the wilderness between the promise and the platform, in the awkward, painful space where everyone thinks you're stagnant, but heaven is actually crafting something eternal in you. The caterpillar doesn't announce its transformation. It goes quiet, hidden, wrapped in silence. But inside that cocoon, destiny is being rewritten. And when it emerges, it doesn't crawl, it flies. You are in that cocoon, and that's why everything feels tight, cramped, like you don't fit anywhere anymore. Because God is growing you out of old wineskins. He's stretching your vision, shifting your appetite, removing the scaffolding of old seasons. What used to satisfy you no longer fills you. What once felt like enough now tastes like crumbs. That's not depression, it's divine discomfort. It's heaven telling your soul, you weren't born for this level. Prepare to ascend. But ascension always comes after isolation. You're not crazy for feeling the shift. You're not dramatic for feeling like everything around you is fading. You're being positioned for something your environment can't hold. And sometimes the people around you will mislabel the process. They'll call you distant, cold, disengaged. But they don't understand that heaven has placed you in a consecration chamber. You're not avoiding them. You're being arrested by the Spirit. You're not ghosting life. You're ghosted by glory. And the deeper you go into this chamber, the more things fall off. Habits, attachments, even dreams you thought were yours. Because God isn't just delaying your arrival, He's redefining your destination. The place you thought was breakthrough was only the training ground. The door you were crying over wasn't your entrance. It was your classroom. And now heaven is about to graduate you. Not to what you expected, but to what you were really born for. This is when the tension gets violent, internally. Because part of you wants to move, to act, to force it, to prove something. But the Spirit won't let you. The same God who used to urge you to step out is now commanding you to stay still. And it feels confusing. But here's the mystery. There's a steel sears. The promise is crowning, but you're still in labor. And labor isn't pretty. It's messy, loud, painful. There's blood, there's fear, there's screaming. But what you don't do is quit mid-push. You don't walk out of the delivery room because it hurts. You stay, you groan, you push. And even though no one around you can feel what you're carrying, you know something is about to break. Not out there, in here. God has placed something in your womb that cannot be aborted. That's why the warfare has increased. That's why the delay feels more intense now than ever before. It's not because you're failing, it's because you're near. You're brushing up against the edge of divine release, and the enemy can sense it too. He always attacks hardest when heaven is closest. He doesn't fight what's behind you. He wars against what's about to come through you. You are the passageway. You are the open door. You are the vessel heaven is using to release something this world has never seen. And the longer the delay, the more precious the cargo. So breathe through it. Don't numb it. Don't run from it. Let the contractions happen. Let the ache become your anthem. Let the fire refine, not destroy. Because any moment now, the pressure will give way to promise. The groan will turn to glory, and the same mouth that whispered, God, why are you delaying? Will soon declare, God, you were delivering me the whole time. Maybe no one told you this, but sacred delay isn't just about timing. It's about trust. God delays what He doesn't want corrupted. He delays what carries too much weight to be delivered carelessly. Because some breakthroughs are more than blessings. They are blueprints. They are not just for you. They're meant to awaken nations, to break cycles, to shift legacies. And heaven doesn't release that kind of power until the vessel is pure enough to carry it without leaking. That's why you've been held back. Not because you're unqualified, but because you're set apart. The delay is not proof of God's absence. It's proof of his divine jealousy over what he's placed inside you. He won't allow you to be revealed until every drop of pride has been burned away, until every motive has been purified, until every dependence on man has been crushed. Because what he's about to birth through you can't be tainted by ego. The delay isn't denial, it's the crushing of counterfeit ambition. It's the stripping of false timelines, the unraveling of religious pressure, the death of man-made expectations. Because if you're going to walk in divine power, you have to first die to human praise. And if you're going to carry the glory, you have to stop craving the crowd. God's glory doesn't ride on hype. It rests on holiness. And holiness takes time. It takes fire. It takes delay. This is why the warfare has been so targeted. The enemy hasn't been attacking your future. He's been attacking your identity. He's been whispering lies in the waiting. You missed it. You're behind. God forgot you. But lies only grow where truth hasn't taken root. So let this truth anchor your soul. You are not behind. You are being built. Heaven doesn't run on clocks. It runs on preparation. And when preparation meets purpose, release is inevitable. But until then, the delay is mercy. The delay is the pause between immaturity and mantle. It's the stretch between calling and commission. It's where oil is formed, not bought. Where voices are refined, not echoed. Where warriors are trained, not showcased. And yes, it's painful, it's confusing, it's isolating. Because when God begins to separate you for something holy, he removes you from what's comfortable, from people who only knew you as you were, from environments that can't steward your next season, from habits that sabotage your clarity, because promotion without pruning is poison. So he prunes, he cuts, he delays, but not because he's forgotten you, because he's obsessed with you carrying his fullness, and not just his favor. And what you feel as silence is actually strategy. You've been thinking God left the room, but he's been rearranging it. You thought he abandoned the promise, but he's been expanding it. You thought you were being punished, but you're being positioned. For what? For the moment when the door finally swings open and you walk through it, not with desperation, but with authority. Not with fear, but with clarity. Not with striving, but with peace. Because by then you'll know the weight of the weight. You'll respect the mantle. You won't idolize the opportunity. You'll steward it. You won't get drunk on applause. You'll be grounded in assignment. And that's why this delay had to happen. To kill the part of you that would have mishandled the breakthrough. To expose the parts of you that were still performing instead of obeying. Obedience is what heaven looks for. Not hustle, not hype, not noise, but yielded hearts who don't need a platform to stay faithful, who don't need a miracle to stay worshipful, who don't need a crowd to stay holy. That's who you've become in this delay. You may not see it yet, but the angels do. The demons do. Heaven does. You are unrecognizable to the person you were before the delay started. And that's the point. Delay is heaven's witness protection program. It protects the assignment until the assassin of pride has been defeated. It hides the oil until the container is healed. It shields the anointing until the character is steady. Because what's coming through you isn't light, it's weighty. And you cannot carry it casually. You cannot carry it hurriedly. You cannot carry it wounded. You must carry it wholly. So let God take his time. Let the delay finish its work. Let the tension stretch you until you're unshakable. Let the questions strip you of self-sufficiency. Let the quiet deepen your hearing. Because when the day comes, and it will come, when breakthrough breaks in, when doors burst open, when the mantle drops, you won't be the same. you'll be ready. Not just for a moment, but for a move. Not just for a testimony, but for a territory. Not just for a blessing, but for a burden that transforms generations. And you'll know deep in your spirit, this wasn't just a delay. It was a divine initiation. And when the moment comes, it won't be loud. It won't be flashy. It'll be sacred. Still, a hush will fall over your soul, and you'll know this is it. Not because everything around you changes, but because something in you finally aligns. There will be no panic, no rush, just the deep knowing that you are no longer waiting, you are walking. No longer begging, you are beholding. No longer asking why, it all makes sense now. The silence, the stripping, the solitude. It wasn't punishment, it was prophecy unfolding in slow motion. God doesn't just release moments, He releases commissioning. And when your commissioning comes, it will carry the weight of every hidden season, every prayer no one saw, every midnight cry, every desert fast, every time you stayed faithful when no one was watching. Your delay wasn't in vain. It was writing legacy in invisible ink. And now heaven's light is revealing every word. This is what breakthrough really is. It's not the applause. It's not the stage. It's the moment when God's timeline kisses your preparation and you realize, I was never forgotten. I was being forged. And what you carry now, no man gave you. No trend taught you. No platform validated you. What you carry now came from fire, from silence, from sacred delay, and no one can take it from you. Because it wasn't handed to you, it was formed inside you. You are no longer waiting for the door. You've become the door. Wherever you walk, breakthrough follows. Wherever you speak, things shift, not because of charisma, but because of consecration. You carry the oil of the crushed, the wisdom of the buried, the authority of the refined. You are not just walking into destiny. Destiny is flowing out of you. This is the holy reversal. What once felt like delay now becomes your distinction. What once shamed you now marks you. The years that looked wasted become your weight in the spirit. The pain that silenced you becomes your trumpet. The shadows that hid you become the cloud of glory that surrounds you. Delay was never God's silence. It was heaven's surgery on your identity. The delay didn't disqualify you. It qualified you for a realm most people never touch. It qualified you for a realm most people never touch. The realm where obedience turns into overflow. You'll look back and realize the years weren't silent. They were surgical. The weight wasn't wasted. It was warfare on every version of you that couldn't carry what you're about to release. The rejection wasn't random. It was redirection. The unanswered prayers weren't cruelty. They were protection. And now, finally, you can breathe. Not because it's easy, but because it's holy. God didn't rush your becoming. And now you won't rush the assignment. You'll move slowly, powerfully, with clarity, with clean hands and a burning heart. Because when you know the cost of the oil, you don't waste it. You don't flaunt it. You steward it. You pour it only where the Spirit says yes. You move only when the wind whispers go. You speak not from impulse, but from intimacy, and the world won't understand it. Some will mock the years you spent doing nothing. Others will try to mimic your oil, but they can't replicate the crushing. They can't borrow your midnight. They weren't there when God broke you. They didn't see you on the floor, begging for His voice. So let them talk. Let them wonder. You don't have to explain. Your existence is the evidence. The breakthrough is not in what you say. It's in who you've become. And who you are now is unshakable. You survived what was sent to kill your hope. You stayed when it was easier to run. You worshipped when your mouth was dry. You served when no one clapped. You prayed when nothing moved. And all of heaven saw it. Every seed, every tear, every yes in the dark. And now, the reward isn't just breakthrough. It's God Himself. Closer, clearer, realer than ever before. You thought you were waiting on the promise, but the promise was always waiting on you, on your heart to heal, on your mind to shift, on your spirit to mature, on your motives to align. And now that you've been refined in the fire, you don't just want breakthrough, you're ready to carry it. Not for your glory, but for His. Not to impress, but to impact. This is where it all begins. From here on out, you'll move different. Not because you're better, but because you've been burned by the holy. You've seen the cost. You've touched the altar. And now everything is sacred. Every step, every word, every assignment. The old you would have chased opportunity. The new you waits for instruction. The old you would have performed. The new you carries presence. The old you needed validation. The new you walks with vision. You've been delayed, not denied. Hidden, not forgotten. Crushed, but not broken. You've been through what most don't survive. And you came out not bitter, but burning. Not proud, but postured. Not exhausted, but ignited. You're not the same, and you never will be. Because delay did something to you. It did something in you. It marked you with heaven's fingerprints, and now it's time. Step into it, not with noise, but with reverence, not with fear, but with faith. Not to prove anything, but to obey everything. Heaven is behind you. Oil is on you. The weight is holy. The time is now. And this is your breakthrough.